The estimate I've recently read is that the average shopper, the average American, spends about $18,000 a year in shopping expenses. I would have guessed it was even more than that, but this is the average. I mean, after all, go to Costco and look at all the merchandise leaving that store. The reason I bring this up is because there's a way that you can make a difference with those dollars. And no, I'm not talking about getting a discount on your credit card when you buy certain products. I'm talking about the better way to buy. And to do that, you turn attention to the Better World Shopping Guide. Over 100,000 in stores and in the hands of consumers, by the way. But this is the third edition. Ellis Jones on the line with me. Hello, Mr. Jones.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, and I appreciate and admire the work you're putting into this. Obviously, this is not just a labor of love, but it involves, I'm guessing, a few individuals besides yourself.
Well, yes. In fact, it involves a team of volunteers who help me in particular going around the country, walking into superstores, markets, retail outlets, etc., and letting me know what is actually on the shelves, because from year to year, brands change and products change, and my goal with the shopping guide is that when a reader picks it up and looks under any category, whether it's coffee or milk or shoes, that what they see in the book actually mirrors what they see on the shelves. And so these volunteers are really very important to keep me in touch with exactly what consumers are seeing out in the everyday world.
And the importance of this book, as you explain in the very beginning, is that spending $1 is like a vote.
Yeah, this is something I think that we are just starting to come to terms with in our society. I think 20, 30 years ago, it used to be good enough for us to be good citizens, for us to vote every 4 years, every 2 years if we were really on top of things, and maybe write our senator or congressperson and let them know where we stand on issues or bills and so forth. But increasingly, over the past few decades, what we've seen is a shift in the centers of power, and that shift is taking place moving away from the political realm of nation-states and democracies and moving toward the economic realm, where we have the major players being corporations, companies, and businesses. And to remain relevant, to really have our voices heard as human beings, what we need to do is open up a channel of communication between everyday people and the people that hold the reins of power in this realm. And in this case, they are the companies, and they are willing to listen to us as consumers because we hold the one thing that they need to exist, and that is dollars.
So we vote with our wallet, essentially. And to do that, you look at various aspects that your terminology is the issues: human rights, the environment, animal protection, community involvement, and social justice.
Yeah, these are 5 major issue areas which consumers have repeatedly generated interest in and have expressed the need for more responsibility around. So these are just 5 major areas. For example, the environment is a huge issue, and it contains everything from global warming issues to toxic waste dumping, or companies maybe cutting down rainforests, or whether or not they use renewable energy or sustainable farming techniques. All of these are wrapped up in that one issue, the environment, and each of these issues are issues really that consumers want to know about, that they want to know, what are these companies doing with our dollars? Are they making the world a better place? Are they chopping down rainforests? What exactly is going on? Because increasingly this is how we are shaping the world in which we live, is based on how companies have decided to respond to the environment and people, etc.
And this is across the spectrum, from airline tickets to appliance and hardware, dental care and meat products, etc. There's no limitation that I can find.
No, in fact, these categories are really generated in large part from readers themselves and consumers themselves. My first job was going into supermarkets to see how aisles were organized, then going into major retail stores and malls. And ever since then, I've gotten feedback from each edition that has helped me add new categories and shape categories in ways that make it easier for consumers. So, for example, in this third edition, I've added 3 new categories: hotels, online retailers, and insurance companies, all 3 of which were generated by the readers themselves. And in the past, they've told me, they want to know about their cell phone companies, or they want to know about toy companies. And all of these categories are really in response to what consumers are actually spending their dollars on.
Let's look at one in particular to give an idea of how this is categorized or graded. Is it a situation then that somebody gets an A because they do what? Under cookies and crackers, Mary's Gone Crackers is one of the few top-rated. And then Nabisco is F.
Yes, so all of these industries and these companies are rated on a scale from A to F. They're really given a report card. And this report card is constructed from thousands of pieces of data that's been collected over the past 20 years from over 50 reliable third-party sources. Now, I never take data from the companies themselves to go into the ranking system, because as we all know, that data can be manipulated, it can be spun, and is often revealed, the nice things that the company is doing, but not the problematic things. So all of the data that comes into the database is third-party data, and it is on those 5 issue areas we mentioned before. And after all of that is put together in the database and the numbers are crunched, we get these grades from A to F in any particular industry. So at the top of this, and I'll give you an example, one of the things in the books I rate a green hero and a corporate villain.
Yes.
And in this case with cookies and crackers, the green hero, which is a company that is leading the industry in a positive direction, is Newman's Own. This is a company that creates not just cookies and crackers, but also salad dressings and many of the products that average consumers buy. It turns out from the very beginning that Newman's Own has donated 100% of their profits to education and charity work, that they have given over $200 million to good causes through the channeling of those consumer dollars into something more than just ways to make more flavors of cookies or more types of salad dressing, and that they've been rated again and again by organizations like the Council on Economic Priorities as one of the top performers for social responsibility. Nabisco, on the other hand, is a brand, actually, that is owned by a company called Kraft, which is a company I think we've all grown up with, which used to be a part of Philip Morris, a cigarette company, which many people did not know used to own Kraft, recently was spun off from that. But this is one of those companies that really has an established record of socially irresponsible behavior, including having spent over $170 million on lobbyists to lobby Congress to have legislation passed in their own favor, having won awards for greenwashing, which is a way of spinning news and data to make it seem more favorable than it is. And in fact, it's still targeted by at least 2 major boycotts worldwide.
In fact, you have that listed as the second worst company in America.
That's right. In fact, it's the second worst company on earth, as far as I can tell. I have a 20 worst list. In the past, there have been a 10 worst list and a 10 best list. And in this edition, for the first time, I've decided to up that number to 20 to give consumers even more information. And the 20 worst list at number 2 is Kraft. That their record, out of all of the companies that I've examined, and in this database there are over 1,700 companies that consumers buy products and services from. The absolute worst grade was given out to ExxonMobil, followed very closely by Kraft.
The book is The Better World Shopping Guide. Every dollar makes a difference. Ellis Jones, New Society Publishers. It's available only $10. And this isn't softcover. You'll want to carry it around with you for insights into what's going on. And one of the things you can find is through your iPad, you can connect directly with some of the information that's available in the book. Am I right on that?
That's right. There is, just this last summer, there was released a version for the iPhone or iPod or iPad that you can download on the iTunes application or through the App Store. And anyone can also go to the website, www.betterworldshopper.org, and there they can see a wide variety of the rankings by industry. They can even peek under the hood to take a look at some of the raw data for 5 or 6 industries so that consumers can really see what the data is that is being used to rate these companies and where it comes from, so that there is a level of transparency so that they can check on this themselves. Because what I've tried to do with this whole project is make something which is intuitive, practical, and really a kind of common sense approach to how do we figure out what these companies are doing so that we can reward those companies that are really reflecting the values that we would like them to reflect, making the world a little bit better, and pull our dollars away from those companies that are using those same dollars to make things worse for everyone.
The Better World Shopping Guide, available through New Society Press. Ellis Jones. Mr. Jones, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Guy.
We'll talk again in the 4th volume. What do you think?
That's right.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Take care.